Hello. So this is now officially my recording studio. That's what I've decided. It's not what I was hoping for, and at some point maybe upgrade this to an actual space. But it's got me thinking about the whole concept of taking action on something, of manifesting, of taking an idea, something that you want to do in life, and taking the steps to actually see that come about. So this will be the third video in this series, and when I first started thinking about it, I was like, all right, well, I want it to be this, and I want it to be this, and I want it to do this, and I want it to have this look and this feel, and I want this structure. And I haven't gotten to that point yet. And part of it is just the way I do things. I really like the free flow feel of just winging it, just going with the flow. Having said that, you've got to have some kind of structure. You got to have something that keeps you in line, keeps you in focus, and I try to keep that to a minimum. And as much as I want to lock this concept into a specific setup, with the videos being a specific amount of time, no more, and with each video having a specific focus, a specific content, and trying to just hit those high points in that concept in that relatively short video. As I mentioned in the first couple, just taking an action is the first step. It's just that first step into getting something going, and that's usually the hardest thing. And what I've come to feel with this whole process is battling some of my preconceived notions of how I want things to be. So I could sit and stew about not having a studio space, or visit Someday Island. I've got that from another speaker, where you just, all right, someday I'm going to do that. Someday I'm going to do this. Well, if you want things to happen, you just have to make a move, take action on something. So that's what I did. And it did a lot for my motivation. It did a lot for my psyche. I felt much better after making that first video, so much so that I made another one relatively quickly after that, which they're not everything that I want them to be. I would like them to be a little cleaner, a little more professional, but I have to boil it down to the intent. What is the intent? And the intent is just to pass along information, create a piece of work that somebody else can look at and maybe get something out of. So this video was really just kind of came to me on a whim. It's Sunday afternoon. It's probably, I don't have a clock on me. I do right there, 6:30 p.m. So I've had the whole weekend. I didn't really do much this weekend. We did a lot last weekend, and I felt good about it. We went up to San Antonio. We were out and about. We went out to eat. We went to a show. We really engaged in life, and I really enjoyed it. And it wasn't like I was bogged down or dragged down or wiped out, which sometimes being around a lot of people in a short period of time can have that effect on me. But we got into the week and I was like, all right, well, I want to do this. I want to do this. I was feeling pretty ambitious and I was like, I want to get things moving. I want to make some serious strides in achieving all these goals. And I spent a good part of the week focused on those. I made a couple videos. I felt pretty good about it. We got into the weekend and Saturday I woke up and I just did not feel fantastic. I was feeling a little nauseous. I just had a bit of a headache and I didn't really drink a lot or do anything that would have made me feel that off, but it was an off day. I really felt disconnected from everything. I just was not in the mood to be around people, to talk to people. Wasn't in the mood, obviously, to do anything like this. And then I got up this morning and I felt better, but then I started to feel slightly guilty, which is a huge no-no. Try to avoid guilt anytime I can or anywhere I can. But it does something that I struggle with. I had these aspirations. I had a good week and I was like, all right, well, this weekend's going to be the time I'm going to do that. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to force it. And I definitely was not in a mood yesterday that was conducive to doing anything productive. So I didn't do anything. It got to be toward the end of the day yesterday and about this time, and we decided we just needed to get out of the apartment for a little bit, so we went to the beach. That's the best part about living in Rockport, where we're at right now, is the beach is right there. It's less than 10 minutes away, so it was pretty busy, but we found a nice kind of a secluded spot down on the far end and just set some chairs up and put my feet in the sand. I walked out in the water for a little bit, spent about an hour just sitting in the sun, watching the birds, listening to the waves, watching, the people that were in proximity to us. It was a good day, and I think that actually kind of changed some things around for me, and that's key. That's identifying those periods where you're low on energy, you're in a kind of a bad state of mind, and figuring out a way to get past it and do something positive and beneficial for yourself. And some days it's just not going to work. So, I mean, I didn't really do anything. And then today I was, again, feeling a little bit guilty because it's the weekend. The weekends, I struggle with Sundays. I always do, because I know Monday's back to work and it's the start of the whole cycle over again. And it's, I can't say it enough. It's just not a job that I enjoy. I've been able to manipulate my own perceptions and perspectives and just adjust the way I see it to make it tolerable. And, that's sometimes what you have to do. It's identifying what you're getting out of it. Is it an equitable trade? And I use that term a lot because it's important. Are you getting what you feel is fair for what you're putting into it? And if it's not, then it's not worth it. It's you do something different. And I'm right on that line right now of it's almost not worth it anymore. But it still provides me with income. The job is what I've created it to be, which is really nothing. I get paid to do nothing. When I started, playing around with the concept of creating your own reality and manipulating your own reactions to stimulus and adjusting how you view things to make it more what you want, it became easy for me. I identified years ago how much this job, because I had this job before, how much this job really bothered me and how much focus I was putting on to the dissatisfaction of everything. And once I cut that free, I didn't have stressful reactions when the phone rang anymore. I didn't have stressful reactions when um, a tense email came in. Somebody's mad and it's going to have to, going to have to sort through it. And for a while there, it had gotten bad, and I've done that a couple of times in my uh, tenure as a property manager, and that is, it's been a learning experience. It's learning to see the signs in yourself, learning to see the reality that you're creating and the reactions that you are throwing into it that are helping keep that alive and move that along. So once I figured out a way to manipulate my own view of what was happening, and definitely learn to let things go and not dwell on things and just stew about so many of the things that bother me, those things faded away. I mean, the more I took my focus off those things and focused on what it is I want, and what it is I want is a paycheck, and I want to not be hassled. So the last year and a half, I've whittled almost all those unhappy feelings and reactions away from my life, and I've really focused on just not doing anything. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, I do what I have to do, and it's more on how you view it. So I don't actually do nothing, but that's the mindset that I have. I'm getting paid to do nothing. I keep that in mind, and the things that I am required to do seem less bothersome because I've chosen to see them as nothing. And to a certain extent, they are. I mean, I'm definitely overqualified for the position I have. I was told that when I went back, and I knew that. And it wasn't really meant to be a permanent lifestyle choice, a permanent career choice. It was just something temporary to get me by. And whittling away ego and all the things that can bring into your life as far as dissatisfaction and frustration because you don't feel like what you're doing is at your level. But it does provide things. So I've made it work. And so now I'm trying to do this, and I have my own hangups that I'm trying to free myself from, and that's again key, freeing yourself from the things that you imprison your mind with. I definitely overthink a lot. I definitely live in my mind, and I have a tendency to get so caught up that I forget to live my life because I'm spend so much of my time thinking about it. That's I don't actually do some of the things that I want to do because I have so many details in my head and I don't know how to coordinate all those details. So just like this, I'm sitting in my car making this recording, and it wasn't the ideal thing. And if I had made that choice, if I had decided, all right, I'm not going to do anything with anything until everything's perfect, I still wouldn't be doing anything. So this whole week has really just been about adjusting my mindset and giving myself permission to move forward with things even though they aren't optimal. So it really just dawned on me today how important that is, how important it is to just I don't know, make things happen without trying to. I'm losing my focus mostly because there's things going on and I'm easily distracted. So, somebody unloading over here and somebody walking their dogs over there. And then I start thinking, all right, well, where are they going? What are they, again, just it's too much in my mind, which is part of the reason why I need a, a private, quiet area so that I'm not subject to so many distractions, because it's hard for me to stay on track. But the bottom line is I've made progress. I've taken steps. I am laying the groundwork for something that is important to me. And I've cut some of the guilt about not being on it every day. And I've cut some of the expectations that I had for myself to do these things. So, I mean, it's all important. It all really plays into the reality that you create for yourself. And the only thing standing in my way is me. And again, this is all about my perspective, my perception of my life, what I am seeing. And everyone out there is going to struggle with things like this on occasion, some more than others. And the hope is that at some point, something that I have done, something that I have said, is going to impact somebody else's life, and it's going to make a difference, and hopefully it'll be for the better. And that wasn't always my motivating factor for a long time, especially in my early 20s. I really wanted to go that shock jock route. I just wanted to say and do things that were just going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe he did that. And I've grown, I've evolved and gotten past that. There's a certain power to that approach, but it doesn't bring the results that are in line with this philosophy. So I abandoned that route, and I'm glad I did, because over the last 5 or 6 years, I've seen people that have made very big name for themselves following that approach. And watching them do that, I was like, I'm glad I changed my mind. I'm glad I didn't follow that route and end up like those fucking clowns. But as much as I disapprove of the way those individuals got to where they were going and the way they maintained themselves during that process, it just rubbed me the wrong way. It's not for me. It just doesn't fit with the concept that I'm trying to promote. And we're creeping up here on 20 minutes, and this wandered all over the place, and I don't even know 100% if I even got out all the things that I wanted to get out. But I'm trying to, as much as I want to stay around the 15-minute mark, 20 minutes is my absolute limit. So that's about all I can cover on this one. But the key takeaways, just if there's something you want in life, go after it. There's a good chance that the circumstances aren't always going to be perfect and ideal, but do it anyway. Take that first step. Take action. Do something to move in the direction that you want to go, and forget about the excuses.